Hi guys, Thomas here and welcome to our Queen of California guitar lesson. In this lesson we're going to look at how to play all the acoustic parts and the guitar solo, so stick around for that. When you're ready, grab your guitar and let's get going. So the song is kind of just one verse. It's almost like a blues structure in that everything is contained in this one part. So I'm going to break it up into the riff that's happening most of the time and then the other kind of other blues parts in terms of a structure. So the riff is going to sound like this. Okay, so what's happening there? We've got a capo on the 4th fret. I'm starting with 3rd on the E string. Now I'm using thumb there, and then the thumb is going to shift over to the D string. Starting with open D and B. Hammer on then to 2 on the D, 1 on the B, then a slap. After the slap, we're plucking both those strings again, the D and B. And pulling off only the D. You got to keep your index finger down on the B. Then we're hitting the open G. Then hammering on from the open D to the 3rd of the D. Then going G, B. Sorry. Okay, then 2nd on the D, open G, open D, open G. And that's the riff for the verse. You see, I'm keeping my 3rd finger down the whole time. So that's the riff that is starting the song, and then that makes up the majority of the verse. So the way I think about this stuff is I play the riff, and then whenever either if you're singing the song yourself, you start singing, that's when the verse begins. Or if you're listening to someone else, you're playing along with someone else, when they start singing is when I start counting the verse. So when they start singing, you're playing this riff 4 times in the verse. That is followed by C. This is kind of like the break in the verse, and that sort of bluesy structure the song's roughly based on. So we're going C chord and doing A string, and then D and B together. And then this recurring pattern, A, G, D, B, A, G, D, B, A, G, D, B. So the way I'm doing that is thumb index, thumb 2nd. So the thumb's doing the A and D strings. So this C chord in total sounds like A together, and then A, and then D and B together. And then these individual strings, 3 times of that individual pattern. And then we go to an A minor 7, so I'm just going to lift my 3rd finger off, and I repeat the exact same thing on my picking hand. So this kind of little bluesy break sounds like this in total. Before we go back to the riff. Okay, and then we're finishing out the verse with a D. So holding the D major, now I'm going like this. So D string, and then G and B together. D string, G string, D, high E, and then D, G, D, E, D, G, D. So let's break it up. We've got this to start, D string, and then G and B. And then we've got this recurring pattern, D, G, D, E. And then end at D, G, D. So D together, then the pattern, D, G, D, E. Again, D, G, D, E, D, G, D. then strumming a C, and then this nice riff. Okay, so this ending section in total sounds like this. And then we go back into the riff. So this little run, doing lots of pull-offs. This is like a G Mixolydian scale. So I'm starting in 1 on the E, pluck that, pull off, go to 3 on the B, pluck that, pull off, so 1, pull off to open, go to 2 in the G, pluck that and pull off. And then end it on an open D. Then we go into our riff. So that's happening on the 3rd beat after our C. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So one more time, this ending section. And that is all of the verse. So again, it's like a blues. So that's the section to the song. The whole song is just that section over and over. So in total then, this is going to sound, the verse is going to sound like this. Remember the riff 4 times. C, A minor, riff twice, D, C, run, riff. And then when he starts singing, you start that all over again. So following this, we've got our solo section. So let me change over guitars and I'll show you that. So the guitar solo sounds like this. So we're starting up on the 13 of the G, and then jumping to 12 on the B, and then immediately bending 14 on the B. And then we're doing a rebend. So John does this quite a lot, where he won't pick it again, he'll just drop it and immediately bend it back up. And you got to try and get vibrato on the bends if you can. And then we've got 12 on the B, 12 on the E, rolling with my index. Then 14 on the B, bend up and stop the bend before hitting the 12 again. So that doing the bend and then killing it at the top and not letting it come back down is really important. That's that first phrase. Then basically repeat the start. 13, 12, 14, the same with the rebend. And then we're doing this bend again, 14. Then we're jumping to pinky on the 14 of the E, 14, 12 on the E, then the bend again on the 14 of the B. That same thing up, stop it, and then 12 on the B. So the first phrase, again. The second phrase. Okay. Then we're going... Now, this is actually 2 guitars on the track, but I thought, okay, I think we can get both anyway. And if it's too much for you, you can just choose one of the strings to do, whichever you think sounds more like the melody to you. So to do that, I'm starting 16 on the G, and then I'm hitting 15 and 14, no, sorry, 17 and 16 on the B and E. Twice. Sliding down to 16 and 14. Slide and pluck. Then after that pluck, you slide again 2 frets down to 14 and 12. Pluck, slide, pluck, slide, pluck, slide to 12 and 11. And then down to 9 and 7. So 16, pluck, pluck, slide, pluck, slide, pluck, slide, pluck, slide. Okay, and then the kind of answer phrase, we're going 13 on the G, and then we're starting on 16 and 14 on the B and E. And then the same sort of thing, pluck, pluck, slide down to 14 and 12. Pluck, slide down to 12 and 11. Down to this same 7 or 9 and 7. And then the hardest one, down to 2 and 4. That's hard, trying to transfer the fingers. You notice I'm changing fingers as I go. So I'm starting pinky in second, then going first and second, and then second and first, down to first and third, and then down to first and pinky. This whole phrase. And then we've got 9 on the B to 7. Pluck, pluck. And then this quick slide 8 to 9 on the G. Pull off. And then that is 6 on the D, 4 on the G, slight bend on the 6 on the G, and the same thing, slight bend, stop it, and then 4 on the G. Okay, then to finish out, we've got this bend. So that is 7, then 9 on the B, then a bend. Holding the bend, holding that bend, plucking it, bringing it down, pull off to 7, and then jumping to 11 and doing a semitone bend, before ending with this slide 10 to 12. And that is the whole solo with that little, there's like a second guitar part does that, but it kind of sits in with the solo, so you can put that in if you want. And that's the whole solo, guys. Okay, so that is all of the guitar parts for Queen of California. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. It's been useful. Bye for now. I'll see you in the next one.